While President Trump meets with the Puerto Rico governor, a local high school helps with the recovery efforts. Plus, a U.S. congressman resigns, leaving a seat up for a special election in Ohio. And in sports, the Ohio soccer team battles in a MAC matchup. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Many of Ohio's retirees may soon see a decrease in benefits. Good evening, I'm Michaela Marshall. Thanks for joining us. The Ohio Public Employees Retirement System voted yesterday to cut benefits for its over 1 million members. The proposal would reduce cost of living adjustments to match the Consumer Price Index, subject to a 2.25% cap. The benefit amount is now fixed at 3% for those who retired before January 2013. Nearly 40 organizations in Athens County use OPERS, including Athens County Public Libraries and Athens municipalities. Ohio University also offers one of its retirement paths for employees through OPERS. The proposal requires the state assembly's approval. Athens high school students are sending more than 300 handmade cards with supplies to Puerto Rico. Air Force veteran and school paraprofessional Anna Fryman leaves Monday with the students' good wishes and supplies donated by Walmart. She's flying to Anyasca Mountains, an area that hasn't seen relief in weeks. Jamie Wall organized the card moving effort and hopes her students can send 500 with Fryman. The cards were hand-drawn by a student and some have Spanish notes on them. Wall says she wants to show those suffering in Puerto Rico that even high school students in Athens, Ohio are thinking of them. Police are investigating the death of Chillicothe High School senior. Chillicothe police say no signs of trauma were found on 17-year-old Jason Bartley. He was found yesterday morning lying between a fence and garage by a school homeless coordinator. Grief counselors are available for students at Chillicothe High School and middle school. An autopsy will be conducted to determine how he died. The Gallia County Prosecutor's Office is hiring another full-time victims advocate. Prosecuting attorney Jason Holdren says in a press release, the position will be funded completely by a federal grant. The new advocate, Christy Perkins, will focus on helping victims of juvenile crime. The attorney for the former co-owner of the Union Bar says his client did not do anything wrong. Eric Gunn is facing rape allegations. In an emailed statement, his attorney Robert Toy says that Gunn believes he has been defamed. Toy did not respond when WOUB asked if a defamation lawsuit will be filed. Athens County Prosecutor Keller Blackburn also did not comment to WOUB when asked if the prosecutor's office is looking into this. People from around the state and even the country are coming to Circleville for the Circleville Pumpkin Show. There's a variety of pumpkin food, crafts, and parades, and the winner of last year's pumpkin was 1,701 pounds. One couple came from Akron to enjoy the festivities.
The Wednesday through Saturday after
there's a lot to do and see, and stuff.
The show will take place tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And Athens is gearing up for its Halloween festivities. Track trick-or-treating starts next Monday and goes until Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Then on Thursday, trick-or-treating in Athens residential areas will take place from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. On Saturday, the annual Honey for the Heart Puppet Parade starts at 6 p.m. And later on that night is the famous Athens Halloween Block Party.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Jordan Vanacek. It was a beautiful day in Athens today. Temperatures hovering in the low 70s and mostly sunny skies throughout the region. Right now we're looking at winds out of the southwest around 6 miles per hour with a dew point around 45 degrees, and then our humidity is around 40% with a high pressure at 30.20 inches. Looking across the region, we're looking at Columbus at 73 degrees along with Newark, Cambridge down at 72 along with New Lexington, and Chillicothe 71, and Jackson and Ironton, and down to 72 in Ripley, 70 in Marietta, and New Martinsville. And Michaela, I don't know about you, but I sure am enjoying this weather that we have been having this past couple of days. I don't know about you.
Well, it's nice that it has been a little bit cooler, but I'm not looking forward to it being so hot again this weekend. Looking forward to your extended forecast. Thanks, Jordan. Amid a series of Republican congressional resignations, Ohio Congressman Pat Tiberi joins the list. Tiberi says he will step down to take the lead of a business policy group back home. Tiberi says he has not decided on an exact departure date, but it will be sometime before his term ends January 31st. Tiberi has held the Central Ohio seat since 2001, and he will now lead the Ohio Business Roundtable with the hope of spending more time with his family. His resignation also comes after his mother's recent death, and his father is currently in ill health. All Ohio State senators will now receive required sexual harassment training after a senator resigned this week over allegations of inappropriate behavior. Republican Cliff Height resigned Monday due to an alleged inappropriate treatment of a female state employee. A Kentucky sheriff's deputy's trusty tool comes in handy to save a teen's life. Angela Ingram reports.
Deputy Ryan Strange only had seconds to act, grabbing a jack from the back of his SUV and rushing to a car. His body cam was recording as he saw a 15-year-old boy lodged underneath of it. He had been riding a skateboard at West Horizon and Coral Drive in Hebron Saturday afternoon when the car hit him.
He was totally out of it. As a matter of fact, his right arm was caught up behind his back. He was basically behind his back touching his left shoulder.
And deputies say he had no pulse at that point. But Ryan's jack that he always carries got the car off the boy.
Started jacking that car up to get the pressure off of him. Once we realized that the initial pressure was off of him, we still couldn't pull him out.
After watching the video, you see that the fire department is getting there just as he gets it jacked up, and everybody in this effort kind of pushes the car up a little bit and pulls him out and gets him out.
Deputies are not required to carry these, but Ryan does to help drivers who may need a tire change.
It just helps people out, and it gives a good light on police officers in general. We get out there, wearing our full gear, our vests, our gun belts, and everything else, and they see that we are there, we are carrying people, and we will help you out.
And he says it's much faster than a jack that typically comes with a vehicle.
I can have this thing fully extended in probably about 4 or 5 pushes of the lever back here.
Deputies say when the seconds counted to help save a young life, everyone pulled together.
So you have first responders that get him out from under the car. The helicopter lands and takes care of the rest of the business.
The boy was taken to an area hospital. His condition is not known at this time. Coming up, public figures speak out as the social media campaign continues to grow. We'll have the story behind the hashtag #MeToo. Plus, the president gives his blessing for a potential Puerto Rico funding plan. What the Puerto Rico governor thinks of the president's response so far. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local Gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is. The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences. They want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
President Trump met with Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rosello today at the White House. The president praised Rosello, saying he shows great leadership. Trump says Rosello has a tough job, but the administration has provided resources fast.
Between 1 and 10, how would you grade the White House response so far today?
I'd say it was a 10. I'd say it was probably the most difficult when you talk about relief, when you talk about search, when you talk about all of the different levels. And even when you talk about lives saved.
Rosello says President Trump has been clear that no U.S. citizen will be left behind. Much of the island remains without electricity several weeks after Maria struck. While President Trump is facing backlash for his response to Puerto Rico, former President George W. Bush spoke out about the political divide in the country.
In recent decades, public confidence in our institutions has declined. Our governing class has often been paralyzed in the face of obvious and pressing needs. The American dream of upward mobility seems out of reach for some who feel left behind in a changing economy. Discontent deepened and sharpened partisan conflicts.
The former president also says the cyber attacks from Russia was a way to divide the country. Millions are joining in on a social media campaign inspiring others to share their personal experience. That story is still ahead.
Temperatures have been very mild the past couple of days, and this pattern will continue into the weekend. However, next week there will be a break in that trend. I'll let you know what to expect on your 7-day forecast next on Newswatch. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences. They want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Jordan Vanacek. It was a beautiful day in Athens today. 71 degrees was our high, 11 degrees above our normal of 60 with 85 as our record. Low today was a chilly 36 degrees with our normal above a couple degrees above that at 41 with a record of 26. Sunrise was at 7:42 this morning. Our sunset was approximately 1 minute ago from now. And looking at our temperatures right now, 71 in Athens, sunny skies, southwest wind around 6 miles per hour with a dew point of around 45 degrees. Pressure's pretty high right now, 30.20 inches, keeping those skies really clear. And looking at our temperatures around the region, 72 in Cambridge, up to 73 in the state's capital, and down to 71 in Ironton and Jackson. And then looking at tonight, 40 degrees will be our low with mostly clear skies. Patchy fog developing as we head later into the evening hours with a calm wind. And as we look into our precipcast, we can see that there is high pressure centered over the southeast part of the United States, and that is why we are having so nice temperatures and clear skies. And as we head into tomorrow, that will continue to be the case for our region, high pressure all over the eastern part of the United States. And looking at our bus stop for tomorrow, 40 degrees, fog, patchy fog again later in the evening, but that will be lifting as we head through the morning hours. Chilly, wear not a light jacket, I would wear probably medium to heavier jacket for those temperatures, again with a calm wind. So nothing to worry about there. 74 degrees will be our high for tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies will continue that trend. Beautiful skies, a little mild for October. We should be expecting temperatures around in the low 60s, but wind will not be a problem with southwest and it will be light. And then hour by hour tomorrow, temperatures 41 by 8 a.m., getting up to 66 by noon, and then up to 74 by 4 p.m. with, again, fog burning off in the morning and then with sunny skies remaining for the rest of the day. And then temperatures for tomorrow, 74 in Athens, 72 in Newark, 73 in Columbus, and in the mid-70s in Ironton and Ripley. And looking at our 7-day forecast, beautiful weekend expected. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s with sunny skies. Frontal system will move through the region earlier next week, which will bring some chances for showers and thunderstorms and cooling our temperatures into the 60s. Back to you, Michaela.
Thank you, Jordan. Public figures are speaking out as the hashtag #MeToo campaign continues. Prominent women such as Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, Alyssa Milano, and others have accused major industry leaders of sexual harassment. Women hope that as the hashtag #MeToo protest builds, sharing their stories will help others erase the stigma of secrets and stop the abuse. CNN's Amara Walker reports.
During this time, a female producer had me do a nude lineup with about 5 women who were much, much thinner than me. And we all stood side by side with only paste-ons covering our privates. After that degrading and humiliating lineup, the female producer told me I should use the naked photos of myself as inspiration for my diet.
Actress Jennifer Lawrence sharing a painful story from when she was an unknown name in Hollywood and joining millions speaking out against sexual harassment and assault. Days after numerous allegations of rape and assault were leveled at movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, public figures from Silicon Valley to Capitol Hill are responding to a tweet from actress Alyssa Milano, who revitalized a movement starting more than 10 years ago. Suggesting every victim of sexual abuse simply type "Me Too" in their social media status to give the world a true sense of the magnitude of the problem. California Senator Dianne Feinstein tweeting that harassment and abuse of women won't end unless spoken about. Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg writing that many women in the workforce, including herself, especially in the early years, deal with unwanted advances and harassment the best we can. Olympic gymnast Michaela Maroney saying she was inspired by others to now tell her story of being molested, starting when she was 13 years old. This is happening everywhere, she writes. Wherever there is a position of power, there seems to be potential for abuse. And award-winning journalist Katie Couric all joining the Me Too movement and all encouraging a wider public discourse.
For me, it's just made me think about any times in my life where maybe I've been disrespectful. It made me want to have more of a conversation surrounding it.
The Me Too movement gives new voice to an age-old problem, one that was rarely discussed publicly until 1991, when Anita Hill accused Clarence Thomas of sexual harassment during his Supreme Court nomination hearing. Now, Hill says progress must continue.
I think we do have to ask ourselves in this moment, how far have we come to equality? How close are we? If, in fact, women are having to endure this kind of behavior in their day-to-day lives, in the workplace, and on the streets. And if we ask ourselves that question, we need to also ask today for our leaderships, whether it's in public or private sector, to step up and tell us what they're going to do to stop the problem.
From Sunday to Tuesday, the MeToo hashtag has been used 825,000 times on Twitter. Now let's check in with Nick Niehaus for sports.
Everybody, I'm Nick Niehaus. The Columbus Blue Jackets are atop their division and are set to play tonight at home against another top contender. And it is week 9 in the high school football season. See who the local teams will face up against. We'll tell you that and more next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back. I'm Nick Niehaus. It is almost playoff time for high school football, but local high schools are looking to finish the regular season strong before it's over. The team with the best playoff chances, the undefeated Nelsonville York Buckeyes, will travel to face Vinton County in a TVC Ohio matchup. Trimble will play host to Alexander. Federal Hawking is still seeking their first win of the season as they host top TVC Hawking squad Waterford, and Athens will be traveling to River Valley. These games will all be played tomorrow night. The OU women's soccer team went up against Bowling Green today with hopes to move up in the standings as they are one game back from the Falcons. The Falcons took an early lead in the first half with a goal, but the Bobcats would not be discouraged as Olivia Molesky scored in the 48th minute on a header off a pass from Sarah Katanen. Tied at the game 1-1. Went into 2 overtimes, but neither team would score a game winner as time ran out in the second OT, giving both teams a tie. With this tie, the Bobcats now have a record of 7-8-2. Now sticking to OU sports, the women's volleyball team is set to travel to Illinois to face off against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Both teams are 4-4 in conference play and are both in 4th place in their respective MAC division. The Bobcats are coming off a sweep of Ball State, however, where freshman middle blocker Tia Jimison was named MAC East Offensive Player of the Week, however, for the first time in her career. She will look to carry the Bobcats over the Huskies to keep them in contention for the MAC Championship Tournament. The game will be at 7 tomorrow night. Now moving from college athletics to the pros, the New York Yankees have been on an absolute tear recently. After quickly going down 2-0 against the Houston Astros, the Yankees have won 3 in a row. Masahiro Tanaka was the starting pitcher for the Yanks, and he threw a gem, going 7 innings, striking out 8 batters, and only letting up 3 hits. The bats were there for the Yankees as well, as they helped Tanaka out by scoring 5 runs. Game 6 of the series will be played tomorrow night in Houston at 8 o'clock. Now switching from the ALCS to the NLCS, the Los Angeles Dodgers went into Game 4 hoping to get one more win to send themselves to the World Series, but that celebration will be delayed by the Cubs with their first win in the series. Now it only took the Cubs 3 swings to get the 3 runs that would eventually be enough to trump the Dodgers. Wilson Contreras and Javier Baez both went deep in the second inning, but Baez would not stop there. He hit another home run in the 5th. The Cubs will again face elimination in Game 5, which will be played tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, switching sports over now to hockey, the Columbus Blue Jackets are set to play host tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Jackets, who are top of the Metropolitan Division, have had a strong start to the season, only dropping 1 game out of 6 and are currently riding a 4-game winning streak. They will be tested, however, as the Lightning are second in their division with 5 wins as well. The Jackets swept the series against the Lightning just last year and are scheduled to play them twice more this season. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock tonight. Now, I'm Nick Niehaus, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Michaela.
Thanks, Nick. The Women's Center held a scale smashing today as part of Ohio University's Love Yourself Week. People were invited to put on a hard hat, grab a hammer, and destroy a scale. The goal was to make people realize that the number on the scale does not correlate to their worth as a person. Tomorrow there will be compliments and letter writing outside of Baker to wrap up Love Yourself Week. Okay, Jordan, let's have a listen to our final weather.
Thank you, Michaela. Looking at tonight, 40 degrees as our low in the Athens region with mostly clear skies, patchy fog developing as we head later in the evening into the early morning hours. Calm wind expected, so not a problem there. Temperatures overnight, 40 degrees in Athens, down to 46 in Columbus, and 40 in Jackson, 42 Ironton, and 41 in Ripley, and 42 Marietta. Again, mostly clear skies, but again, some patchy fog possible as we head into the early morning hours. But our extended forecast is looking very nice. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s into the weekend with mostly sunny skies. Things are going to get a little iffy on Monday and Tuesday as a low pressure system moves in with a couple of cold fronts as well, bringing with it a chance for some rain and even some thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday, and even going into Wednesday. But temperatures are going to be cooling down dramatically. Fall will make a return back into the Athens region with temperatures around 74 on Monday and 60 on Tuesday. Michaela, back to you.
Thank you, Jordan. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Michaela Marshall. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Buddy, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.